What does Senator Lindsey Graham think about the 6th and Trump's culpability? Well, it turns out it really depends on if you talk to Lindsey Graham on January 7th or Lindsey Graham today. Because last night, after seeing all of that footage about the attack and what Trump said and what he tweeted, here is what he had to say on Sean Hannity's show.
Your viewers, the not guilty vote is growing after today. I think most Republicans found the presentation by the House managers offensive and absurd. We all know what happened in the Capitol was terrible. I hope everybody involved that broke into the Capitol goes to jail. But I don't remember any of these House managers saying a damn thing when they were trying to break into my house and going after Susan Collins and spitting on all of us. If this is a problem for a politician to give the speech that President Trump did, well, then Kamala Harris has a real problem because she actively engaged in bailing out rioters. And here's what I would suggest. If you're a politician trying to raise bail for people accused of rioting, you're inciting more riots. But here's...
Okay, so he thinks it's serious, just not serious enough to do anything about it here. That's the amazing thing about whataboutism. He's like, well, you're saying this is bad, but this is just as bad, but I don't want to do anything about either of them. Well, then it's just a distraction. You don't actually care. And also, he was on Mark Levin and he had this to say.
Here's what I want to know. What did Nancy Pelosi know and when did she know it? If this was widely known by the FBI and Capitol Hill Police that people were planning to come to Washington before the 6th to create violence, I want to know, did she know about that?
Okay, so somebody's responsible, but it's probably Nancy Pelosi, not the guy who actually brought them there and then sent them to the Capitol. So, Jason, this is what he's saying now. What we saw yesterday from the House managers, it was absurd. It was offensive. How dare they? And it definitely doesn't prove that Trump had any relationship whatsoever to what happened on the 6th.
Yeah, everyone's it's trying to cover their own ass to position themselves in a space that makes them look the best. That's all I can say about that. I mean,
yeah. Well, let's see what you make of this. If you don't like Lindsey Graham last night, I get it. I don't like him either. What about Lindsey Graham on the 6th and the 7th? So the day after the attack, he said, when it comes to accountability, the president needs to understand that his actions were the problem, not the solution. His actions were the problem. So what does that mean, Lindsey Graham? Which actions? How were they the problem? Because you're saying he didn't have anything to do with it. So why the day after were his actions the problem, not the solution? And why is it that night on the 6th, you said, all I can say is count me out. Enough is enough. Count you out of what?
What?
Enough is enough of what? What have you finally reached enough of? You now don't have enough. At 20 days later, suddenly you could take a little bit more, I guess. But at that point, you'd had enough is enough. Enough of what? And what were Trump's actions? Because you seem to be pretty clear that you finally reached a line that you're not willing to cross and that Trump's actions took us there. But now, like a month later, well, come on, it's absurd for there to be any consequences.
It's a clear as day example of someone who is trying to doesn't know who to enlighten himself. We don't know what kind of coercion is going on behind the scenes with these politicians, because politicians are really good of innuendo. They're really good of giving you just enough to be skeptical or question, but not really going forth and being completely honest and transparent. From January 7th to now, two very starkly different takes and feelings on everything. So as far as Lindsey Graham's concerned, I could care a little what he's saying seriously, but great questions. What are you fed up with though? And why can't you just come out and say it? What is the fear of being, as I said, transparent and letting people know exactly what you're talking about then, if you do know something or you are fed up with said actions of the former president? it reminds me of like a really bad like John Grisham novel, or like John Clancy, where like, you know, the government's working behind the scenes and they're showing up at your house and knocking on your door, and like you wake up in the morning and someone's over your bed looking at you saying, "Don't you say anything." It's so weird. Like, what's the fear? That's what I want to know, is what's the telling the truth?
I mean, people are speculating in the comments that enough is enough was Trump, and then suddenly, remember, he was chased through an airport by those same people from that, and he was suddenly scared. And maybe he thought, well, enough is enough for me. Maybe enough is enough for everyone. Maybe finally we're all gonna turn and I'll be able to reveal this whole time I've despised Orange MFer. And then it didn't happen. Most Republicans stayed with Trump, and they were not just deferential to him, but even crazier people like Marjorie Greene. And suddenly realize, oh wait, no, everything isn't changing. We're still in the pocket of Trump. I still want to be relevant, so I guess suddenly it's all absurd. Anyway,
relevancy, great, John. There it is. People still want to be relevant because they're realizing that it's like when you have the school bully and his minions. The nerd kicks the hell out of the bully's dethroned, all the minions defect, and it's a changing of the guard, right?
Yeah.
That follow blindly are like, where do I go now? I have no spine, no backbone. Like, who's gonna love me now? I think that's what's happening with a lot of these people who were so aggressively and so openly and actively and forcefully supporting Trump in every single thing he tried to put in motion, every single tweet, every single idea. As I said earlier, their future is in jeopardy in some capacity. I would think that's the only logical explanation I could have for what we're seeing now. The type of disloyalty that is copiously being rained down by these people.
Yeah, they're all worried about the future and not about the right things, all from a very personal point of view.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.